Listen to me very carefully. What if the normal aches and pains you feel every day aren't just old age? What if they are actually a warning sign? A ticking time bomb sitting right inside your chest? You see, for years, we have been told a lie. The mainstream medical system and the big pharmaceutical companies, they often wait until it is too late. They wait until you're in the emergency room to pay attention to you. Why? Because a cured patient is a customer lost. They don't make money when you're healthy. They make money when you're dependent on their pills. But today, right now, that ends. I'm going to reveal 5 hidden signs that your arteries are clogging up. These are signs that your doctor might be missing during your standard 15-minute checkup. We are going to talk about the silent signals your body is sending you to scream for help. Ignoring these signs could cost you your independence. Or worse, it could cost you your life. But if you catch them early, you can turn the clock back. You can clean out those pipes and get your energy back. And you can do it without expensive surgeries or dangerous chemicals. We are going to fix this together. But first, I need to know who I'm talking to. We are building a community of survivors here. So please, do me a huge favor. Go down to the comments right now. Yes, right now. Comment your age and the city or state you're watching from. Are you 65 from Texas? Are you 72 from Florida? Let me know below. I want to see how many of us are ready to take control of our own destiny today. Write it down. Good. Now, take a deep breath. Let's look at the first sign. Sign number 1, the heavy leg syndrome. All right, let's get right into the first sign. This is something that affects millions of Americans, and most of them have no clue it is related to their heart. I call it the heavy leg. Here's the situation. You decide to go for a walk. Maybe you're just walking to the mailbox at the end of the driveway. Or maybe you're walking around the grocery store looking for the milk. Suddenly, your calves start to hurt. It feels like a cramp, or maybe it just feels heavy like you're walking through wet cement. So what do? You stop. You rest for a minute, and the pain goes away. So you think nothing of it. Here's what they want you to believe. You tell your doctor about this leg pain, and what do they say? Well, you're getting older. They say, it's probably just a little arthritis in your knees. Or they tell you that you're just out of shape and need to lose a few pounds. They give you a painkiller and send you home. That is a dangerous lie. This isn't about your muscles being weak, and it isn't about your bones. This is a circulation crisis. Doctors call it claudication, but I call it your body's engine warning light. You see, your legs are the furthest part of your body from your heart. They are the hardest place for blood to reach. So if your arteries are starting to get clogged up, if plaque is building up in your system, your legs are the very first place you will feel it. It is not a leg problem. It is a heart problem disguised as a leg problem. I want you to imagine a garden hose. You are out in your yard on a hot summer day. You turn the water spigot on full blast. The water should be shooting out powerful and strong, right? But imagine if someone parked a car right on top of that hose. What happens? The water doesn't flow. It just trickles out. Drip, drip, drip. The plants at the end of the hose start to wither and die because they are thirsty. That is exactly what is happening inside your legs. The plaque in your arteries is the car parked on the hose. Your leg muscles are the thirsty plants. They are screaming for oxygen. That pain you feel, that is your muscles suffocating. Let me tell you a quick story about a man named Harold. Harold is 74 years old and lives in Phoenix, Arizona. Harold used to love golfing, but about 2 years ago, he noticed he couldn't walk the fairway anymore. His calves would burn after just 5 minutes. He went to his general doctor. The doctor told him, "Harold, take some Tylenol and rest more. It's just aging." Harold listened.
He sat in his recliner for a year. He gained 15 pounds. He got depressed. Then he ended up in my office. We checked his legs. His circulation was blocked. He didn't have arthritis. He was on the verge of a heart attack. Luckily, we caught it. We changed his diet and gave him the specific nutrient I am about to tell you about. Today, Harold is back on the golf course walking all 18 holes. So, how do we fix this? How do we move that car off the garden hose? We need to clear the calcium deposits out of your arteries. You see, calcium is great for your bones, but it is terrible for your arteries. When calcium gets into your blood vessels, it turns into hard cement. We need to move that calcium out of your blood and back into your bones where it belongs. There is a specific vitamin that does exactly this. It is called vitamin K2. Think of vitamin K2 as a traffic cop. It stands in your blood vessels and directs traffic. It tells the calcium, hey, you don't belong here. Go to the bones. Most seniors are completely deficient in this vitamin. So here's your homework for sign number 1. Look for a supplement that contains vitamin K2, specifically the MK7 type. Take 100 micrograms per day with your dinner. It's a small change.
But for Harold, it was the difference between a wheelchair and the golf course. Now, if you think leg pain is sneaky, wait until you hear sign number 2. This one happens while you are sleeping, and it might be the reason you are so tired during the day. Let's keep going. Sign number 2, the exhausted wake up. Now remember what I just said. This next sign happens when your eyes are closed. It is sign number 2, the exhausted wake up. Let me ask you a personal question. When your alarm goes off in the morning, do you bounce out of bed ready to take on the world? Or do you drag yourself out from under the covers? Do you feel like you just went 10 rounds in a boxing ring, even though you slept for 8 hours? If you are waking up tired, pay attention. Here's what society tells us. Oh, older people just don't sleep well. It's just part of aging. Maybe you need a new mattress. Just drink another cup of coffee. Your doctor might prescribe a sleeping pill. That is the worst thing you can do. Because the problem isn't that you can't fall asleep. The problem is what your heart is doing while you sleep. If your arteries are narrowing, if there is plaque building up in your chest, your heart has to work double time. Think about it. Nighttime is when your heart is supposed to rest. It is supposed to slow down. It's supposed to recharge. But if your pipes are clogged, your heart can't rest. It has to pump harder and harder and harder just to keep the blood moving. So while you are dreaming, your heart is running a marathon. You wake up exhausted because your body has been fighting a battle all night long. This is often linked to something called sleep apnea. When you stop breathing at night, your oxygen drops. Your heart panics. Your blood pressure spikes. It damages the artery walls, creating cracks where more plaque can stick. Imagine your car again. You pull into your garage at night. You turn off the lights. You go inside the house. But you leave the car engine running. And not just running at idle. You put a brick on the gas pedal. The engine is revving at 5,000 RPMs all night long inside the garage. In the morning, how is that engine going to feel? It's going to be overheated. It's going to be out of gas. It's going to be worn out. That is your heart. You cannot expect the engine to last if you never take your foot off the gas.
Let me introduce you to Mary. Mary is a sweet 68-year-old grandmother from Savannah, Georgia. Mary loved to bake for her grandkids, but she started napping every day at 11 a.m. She would wake up at 7 a.m., and by lunch she was done. Her husband complained that she snored like a freight train. Her doctor gave her pills for insomnia. They made her feel groggy and dizzy. When she came to us, we looked at her oxygen levels. We looked at her inflammation. Her heart was under massive stress. We didn't give her sleeping pills. We gave her a simple mineral to relax her blood vessels. Within 3 weeks, the snoring stopped. She stopped napping. Last Christmas, she baked 12 dozen cookies and stayed up until midnight playing cards. So, how do we turn off the engine at night? How do we relax those stiff arteries so the blood flows easily? You need to lower the tension in your blood vessels. There is a master mineral for this. It is involved in over 300 reactions in your body. It is called magnesium. But listen to me carefully. Do not go to the drugstore and buy magnesium oxide. That is cheap junk. It's basically chalk. It won't help your heart. It will just give you an upset stomach and send you to the bathroom. You need magnesium glycinate. Glycinate is the form that absorbs into your system and relaxes your muscles and arteries. Here is the protocol. Take 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate about 1 hour before bed. It signals your nervous system to calm down. It opens up the blood vessels. It lets your heart take that much-needed break. Now hold on. We have fixed the legs. We're fixing the sleep. But sign number 3 is something you can see in the mirror right now. It is a weird little crease in a very specific place on your head. And believe it or not, this strange mark is 70% accurate in predicting heart disease. Go find a mirror because you need to check this immediately. Sign number 3, the earlobe crease, the silent mark. Did you find a mirror? Good. I want you to look closely at your earlobes. Yes, your ears. I want you to check for a specific line. It is a diagonal crease that starts where your ear attaches to your head and cuts downwards across the fleshy part of the lobe. It looks like someone took a knife and made a little cut. Doctors call this Frank's sign. And if you have it, you need to listen to this very closely. If you ask a dermatologist or a standard GP about this line, they will shrug. They will say, "Oh, don't worry about that. You probably just slept on your pillow wrong. It's just a wrinkle. You're getting older. Your skin is sagging." They dismiss it as cosmetic. They might even suggest plastic surgery to fix it. That is like painting over a crack in the foundation of your house. It hides the problem, but the house is still crumbling. This little crease is 70% accurate in predicting heart disease. Think about that.
It is more accurate than some expensive lab tests. Here is why it happens. Your earlobe is unique. It is the only part of your body that has flesh, but no bones and no cartilage. It relies entirely on tiny, microscopic blood vessels to stay plump and healthy. When your arteries start to harden, when the plaque starts to build up in your main pipes, the blood flow to these tiny vessels in the ear gets cut off first. The tissue in your earlobe starts to die. It loses its elasticity. It collapses. That creates the crease. It is not a wrinkle. It is a sign that your microcirculation is failing. I want you to think of a fresh, juicy grape. It is plump. It is smooth. Why? Because it is full of water. Now, imagine a raisin. What does a raisin look like? It is wrinkled. It is shriveled. It has deep creases. Why? Because the water is gone. Your earlobe is the grape. Your blood is the water. When the pipes are clogged, the water can't get to the grape. So your earlobe turns into a raisin. And if your ear is drying out, imagine what is happening to your heart, your brain, and your kidneys. They are shriveling up too. I knew a truck driver named John. We called him Big John. He was 62, from Chicago, tough as nails.
He had these deep creases on both of his ears. His wife, Martha, watched one of my videos and noticed them. She begged him to get checked. John said, "It's just a wrinkle, Martha. Leave me alone." 2 months later, John collapsed at a truck stop in Indiana. It was a massive blockage. He survived, barely. But the surgeons told him later, "Your arteries were like concrete." If he had listened to the sign on his ear, he could have fixed it before he ended up in the ICU. Don't be stubborn like John. So, we have a raisin problem. We need to turn it back into a grape. We need to flood your body with something that restores elasticity. We need to make your arteries flexible again, so the blood can reach those tiny places. There is a powerful molecule that does this. It is called nitric oxide. This molecule signals your arteries to relax and expand. It widens the road so the traffic can flow. But you can't just take a nitric oxide pill. It doesn't work that way. You need to feed your body the raw materials to make it. The best source? Beetroot powder. Beets are packed with nitrates that your body turns into nitric oxide. Here is the protocol. Find a high-quality organic beetroot powder, sugar-free. Mix 1 teaspoon in a glass of water every morning. It tastes a little earthy, but it works like magic. Within weeks, you will feel your hands and feet getting warmer. That is the blood returning to the places it has been missing from. We're halfway through. We have covered the legs, the sleep, and the ears. But sign number 4? This one is awkward. Nobody wants to talk about it, especially men. But it is the single biggest predictor of a heart attack in men over 60. And for women, it shows up as cold hands. Let's talk about the private signal. Sign number 4, the private signal and the ice-cold hands. Whew! We need to have a grown-up conversation now. This is the sign that men are too embarrassed to talk about. And it is the sign that women often ignore because they think it's just bad circulation. For the men, it is trouble in the bedroom. You know what I mean. Things aren't working like they used to. For the women, it is hands and feet that feel like blocks of ice. Even in the middle of July, you need socks on. Your fingers turned white or blue. If you go to the doctor with these problems, they will tell the men, "Here is a prescription for the little blue pill." They treat it like a mechanical failure, like you just need a jump start. And for the women, they say, "Oh, you just have Raynaud's syndrome," or "wear warmer gloves." They treat the symptom. They ignore the cause. Taking a pill to force things to work in the bedroom is dangerous. It forces blood through clogged pipes. It is like forcing water through a blocked hose. Eventually, something is going to burst. This is simple physics. Your arteries are like a system of pipes. You have big pipes, like the ones going to your heart, and you have tiny, thin pipes, like the ones in your extremities and private parts. The arteries in the male reproductive system are very, very small. They're about 1 to 2 millimeters wide. The arteries in your heart are twice that size. So think about it. If you have sludge and plaque floating in your blood, where will it get stuck first? Will it clog the big sewer main? Or will it clog the tiny bathroom drain? It clogs the tiny drain first. Bedroom problems are not a sexual problem. They are an early warning system. It is your body telling you, the small pipes are clogged, the big pipes are next. A heart attack is coming. If you have ED, you are 50% more likely to have a heart attack in the next 3 to 5 years. I want you to imagine the plumbing in your house.
Imagine you are pouring grease down the kitchen sink every day. Don't do that, by the way. At first, the water drains a little slower. Then the small pipe under the sink gets completely blocked. The water backs up. Now, if you ignore that, eventually that grease hardens and moves down the line. It blocks the main pipe out to the street. Now the sewage backs up into the whole house. The bedroom problem is the kitchen sink clogging. The heart attack is the main sewer line failing. You have to clean the grease out of the kitchen sink before it destroys the whole house. Tom was a 66-year-old retired mechanic from Michigan. He was a proud guy. He didn't like talking about his feelings. He started having trouble in the bedroom. He was ashamed. He bought those gas station pills to try and fix it. He hid them from his wife. He thought he was fixing the problem, but he wasn't fixing the plaque. One day, while shoveling snow, Tom felt a crushing weight on his chest. He went down. It was a widowmaker heart attack. Tom survived, thank God. But when I spoke to him later, he said, "Doc, I had the warning signs for 3 years. I just didn't know that my nail problem was actually a heart problem." We need something that scrubs the plaque off the walls of your arteries. We need a pipe cleaner. There is a powerful natural extract that has been proven to reverse the buildup of soft plaque.
It is aged garlic extract. Now, I am not talking about eating raw garlic. You would have to eat 20 cloves a day to get the effect, and no one will want to be near you. You need the aged extract. The aging process changes the chemistry of the garlic. It turns it into a potent antioxidant that stops the rusting of your cholesterol. Here is the protocol. Look for aged garlic extract, or Kyolic. Start with 600 milligrams twice a day. It is odorless. You won't smell like an Italian restaurant. But inside your arteries, it is working like a scrub brush, cleaning out that grease so the blood can flow to every part of your body. Okay, we have one final sign. This is the most dangerous one of all, because it mimics indigestion. Millions of people take an antacid and go to bed, and they never wake up. We need to talk about sign number 5 right now. Sign number 5, the toxic belly, the imposter. We have arrived at the final sign. And frankly, this is the scariest one. Why? Because it doesn't feel like heart pain. It doesn't feel like the elephant sitting on your chest that you see in the movies. It feels like lunch. It is sign number 5, nausea and indigestion. Picture this scenario. You just finished a nice dinner. Maybe you had a little bit of steak or some pasta with red sauce. An hour later, your stomach feels weird. You feel a burning sensation right below your ribs. You feel a little sick, maybe a little queasy. What do you tell yourself? Oh, I shouldn't have eaten that spicy sauce. My heartburn is acting up again. I just have a little indigestion. You go to the medicine cabinet, you take a pink antacid liquid or chew on a chalky tablet, and you go to bed, hoping to sleep it off. For thousands of seniors every year, that is the last mistake they ever make. Your heart and your stomach are neighbors. They sit right next to each other. And more importantly, they share the same nerve signals. There is a major nerve called the vagus nerve. When the bottom part of your heart is blocked, when it is starving for oxygen because the arteries are clogged, it sends a distress signal. But because the wires get crossed, your brain thinks the signal is coming from your stomach. You aren't having indigestion. You are having a heart attack. This is especially common in women. Women often don't get the chest pain. They get the nausea. They feel like they have the flu. Imagine the wiring in your house. Imagine that the wires for the doorbell and the smoke detector are touched together. Suddenly, a fire starts in the kitchen. The smoke detector should go off, but instead, the doorbell rings. Ding dong! You think, oh, someone is at the door. You go to answer the door, completely ignoring the fire in the kitchen.
That is what your body is doing. The fire is in your heart, but the doorbell is ringing in your stomach. Do not ignore the doorbell. Brenda is 70, a retired school teacher from Ohio. She was at her granddaughter's birthday party. She felt sick to her stomach. She turned pale. She told her daughter, "I think I ate a bad piece of cake. I'm going to go lay down in the car." Her daughter, luckily, was a nurse. She looked at Brenda. She saw the sweat on her upper lip. She said, "No, Mom, we are going to the ER now." Brenda argued. She said she just needed a Tums. They went to the hospital. Brenda had a 95% blockage in her right coronary artery. If she had gone to the car to sleep, she would never have woken up. We need to make sure your blood is slippery. We need to make sure that even if the pipe is narrow, the blood can still slide through without clotting. We need to give your arteries a non-stick coating. The best way to do this is with high-quality omega-3 fatty acids, fish oil, but not the cheap stuff that smells like rotten fish. You want krill oil or a high-purity fish oil. Here is the protocol. Take 2,000 milligrams of omega-3s every day with breakfast. It reduces inflammation. It keeps the platelets in your blood from sticking together like clumps of mud. It keeps the traffic moving, even if the road is tight. We have covered a lot of ground today. Let's look at the checklist you now have in your hands. The heavy leg. You know to take vitamin K2 to move the calcium out. The exhausted wake-up. You know to take magnesium glycinate to relax the engine. The earlobe crease. You know to use beetroot powder to restore the flow. The private signal. You know to use aged garlic extract to scrub the pipes. The toxic belly. You know to use omega-3s to keep the blood flowing smoothly. Listen to me. The medical industry wants you to believe that getting sick is inevitable. They want you to believe that your body is destined to fail. They want you to be afraid. But look at what we did today. We took the power back. You don't have to be a victim of your genetics. You don't have to be a victim of the standard American diet. You have the tools right here to rebuild your health, one cell at a time. Imagine waking up 30 days from now. Imagine walking to the mailbox without your legs hurting. Imagine sleeping through the night and waking up with energy. Imagine knowing that your heart is strong, pumping clean blood through clean pipes. That isn't a fantasy. That is your new reality. But there is one more piece of the puzzle. We talked about what to take, but we haven't talked about what you need to stop eating. There are 3 healthy foods that are secretly clogging your arteries every single morning. You probably have one of them in your kitchen cabinet right now. I am going to reveal exactly what they are in my next video. You cannot afford to miss it. If you found value in this today, if you are ready to fight for your health, do 2 things for me right now. Hit that subscribe button. Join our army of survivors. I don't want you to miss the truth. Share this video. Send it to your brother, your sister, your golf buddy. You might save a life today just by clicking share. I am here to tell you the truth that they won't. I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong.